Oh, fudge. That is so bright. Okay, you kind of lost me too, to be fair, so it made me sob. I still have a little over 3 hours to read, so. Hello, my name is Angel and welcome to or welcome back to my channel. I am doing something I've never done before. I always see 24-hour readathons and I love those videos, but I've always felt overwhelmed by them. Felt like I needed to have a few days set out, which is hard unless I take vacation time. And I know that it's going to be very taxing on my body and my routine. So I've seen lately several creators doing 12-hour readathons. I recently enjoyed Bruce Project's Reagan doing How Much Can I Read in 12 Hours? I doubt I can read as much as she can because she reads huge fantasy books, but that has inspired today's video, a 12-hour readathon. I am starting this a little bit late, to be honest. It is already 9:35. I meant to get up and get started, but I had a little bit of a headache that slowed me down. So we're starting now. So I guess I'll be reading until 9:35, almost 10. Whenever I actually start reading, I will keep you updated, of course. But I've got my coffee here. Today I got a macchiato with butter pecan swirl. I love the butter pecan at Dunkin', so that is what I will be drinking. And let me talk you through the TBR for this video. Oh, I should also say thank you for clicking on the video. I hope you enjoy. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd love to have you around. Now let's do the TBR. So I have a lot of short books on my TBR. Some of these have been on there for years. I need some extrinsic motivation here. So I have picked out 4 super short books that I'm hoping to get through all of these. Once I finish one, I'll feel super slay and motivated to pick up another one. At least that is the goal here. So first one I'll be finishing is Transformation by Mary Shelley. I've actually got 2 from this collection. These are the Penguin Archive collections. They're short little, I don't know necessarily that they were undiscovered and now they're being published, but more like they're not super popular, more like short stories by famous authors, or yeah, just lesser popular stories that they've published in these beautiful short little editions. So I've got 2 of those. The first one being Transformation by Mary Shelley, which if you watched my, it's been a while now, but How Much Can I Read in a Week video, I read the first story in this, which is called Transformation, and I enjoyed it. So I really only have 2 short stories left to read in this, which should be definitely manageable. And then The History of England by Partial, Prejudiced, and Ignorant Historian by Jane Austen. What an awesome title. And this is Jane Austen talking about English history, Mary Queen of Scots, Elizabeth I, and I love those historical figures first of all. I love Jane Austen also, so this I think will be great. Next I have 84 Charing Cross Road. I heard about this from Ariel Bassett in her, I don't know if she mentioned this before she quit doing like book videos on her YouTube channel, but I've heard her bring it up a lot more recently on Books Unbound, the podcast she has with Raylene, and it just sounds so charming. Super short again. It says here that this was first published in 1970, and it is bringing together 20 years of correspondence between Helene Hanff, a freelance writer living in New York City, and a used book dealer in London. So we're going to see their correspondence throughout the years. Sounds very, again, very charming. And then we have a book I've been meaning to get to. This is Grendel by John Gardner. I love Beowulf. I've been meaning to read this for several years now, and I think this video would be the perfect time for me to read it. Grendel is definitely an interesting monster. The different translations that I've read of Beowulf, you get a different feel for Grendel, so I'm excited to see what Gardner does with this book. Of course, if I get through all of these, which would be so awesome, I would feel so amazing about my reading progress, and this will definitely boost my quantity for the year. I'm not focused on quantity. I never really have been because I don't read as much as a lot of readers on this space. I think the most I've ever read in a year is close to 70 books, so just so you're like aware, if this is your first video I'm more of a slower reader. Welcome. I hope you stick around, but this will definitely make me feel so much better because I'm not picking these books just because they're short, right? These are books that I've wanted to read and they just happen to be short, which is perfect for this video. I'm super excited and I lost my train of thought, didn't I? Oh, yes, if I finish all of these, I'll pick up more books, of course. So without further ado, let's start the readathon. Sorry if you can hear my super loud washing machine. I'm hoping that this mic is canceling out some of that noise. But I'm coming on because I have finished my first book of this readathon, Transformation. I had 2 more short stories that I needed to read in this. It's a collection of 3 short stories. And I had already read Transformation and enjoyed it. Miss Shelley can definitely write eerie atmosphere like no other. She really captures the vibes and has such great one-liners. Though overall, this was a good collection, but not a new favorite. I enjoyed the last short story the most, The Mortal Immortal. It definitely kept me the most engaged and had that eerie vibe. So I really enjoyed it and what the themes it tackled in there. So I am going to give this 3 out of 5 stars, and that leaves me with 11 hours and 10 minutes to read. So 11 hours, that is good timing, I think, for me to read these books. So I've decided to move on to 84 Charing Cross Road just because that one sounds so good right now. And then I will go from there. It's the perfect rainy, stormy day, perfect reading vibes, really enjoying it, just sitting in my reading room, getting to look at my bookshelves, which I'll flip you around and show you. They're just so beautiful. I love them so much. And this is a piece of art that I got in the mail but haven't hung up yet. That's so beautiful. I can show you later in the vlog, but yeah, definitely enjoying the vibes this Saturday. I have just finished reading 84 Charing Cross Road, and I'm not in a position to talk right now, clearly, because it made me sob. But I wanted to come back on because in this mess, I went to pause my timer and I accidentally exited off of it. But I'm guessing I'm around 9 hours or so by now because the last time I checked it, it was 10 hours and something like 10 and a half hours. And then I finished the book. So if I had to guess, and I'm guessing I'm right, I'm at 9 hours or so left on the challenge. But right now I'm going to take care of this mess and pause the timer. Well, restart the timer when I actually get back to reading because again, I just exited out of it, which I tend to do whenever I'm trying to time myself. I don't ask me how I manage to do that every time, but I'm going to pause the challenge now, recover, do some household chores, and then I will update you when I start the timer and start my next book. Living room cleaned. Now let's talk this book. You saw that I sobbed. I love this so much. This is definitely a 5 out of 5 star read for me that I can see myself rereading like once a year, honestly. I just love how these letters read, like the they're the perfect correspondence, honestly. Like, it's never boring. It's so wholesome and sentimental, and it's really Helene communicating with a bookseller, which is the loveliest thing a reader could read, right? Like, she's going back and forth with this bookseller, telling him the books that she wants. She's getting to know the other booksellers at the bookshop, just communicating. And also, she's in New York, they're in England, and the letters span from the 40s to 1969, and so beautiful. So it's like 20 years of letters. What more could you ask for? And Helene is just so witty. I love the back and forth. 5 out of 5 stars. Absolutely love this book so much. I am in a better mental state and emotional state, obviously, so now I can move on, though I left my books in the floor over there. So no, I haven't just been sitting at this spot, even though it looks like it. I have been moving around, and now it is 1:30, and I have at least 9.5 hours left to read, so go me. I don't know what I want to pick up next. In the TBR that I had set for my video, that leaves, of course, the Jane Austen book or Grendel. I don't know. I'm just going to pick up a book, and I'll update you when I make some progress. You'll see what I pick, of course. So let's get back to what we're all here for, which is reading. Well, I'm up anyway to get my book, and before I forget, I want to show you the art that I got. I felt like such an adult because I went to fineartamerica.com, I believe, and I got this framed and matted. I love it so much. It's the perfect weight also. I was worried it would be super heavy to hang on the wall, but it is not. It is so light and beautiful. I love this print so much. I can link it below, the artist and everything. I love all of their artwork. So it comes perfectly ready for me to hang also, and I think it's just so perfect. I don't know what it is. I've just been wanting pops of red in my life. Like, is that not the most beautiful red? So anyway, now you can see my adult purchase. I laid down to read more Grendel, which was a terrible idea because now I'm sleepy and wanting to take a nap, but I don't have time to, so I'm going to pause to take a quick shower, which will hopefully wake me up, and then I will come back on and finish Grendel. I only have 70 pages left. Mabel's my dog. She's definitely not happy with me reading and not paying attention to her. She's trying to get her dinner early, but it's not time for that. A bit about Grendel. This is following Grendel the monster from Beowulf, the old epic poem, following his perspective, which is interesting. He's telling his own side of the story. In Beowulf, he's just portrayed as this evil monster, and then in this, we can see that he has thoughts of his own. He can speak, and he is experiencing the world around him. Of course, he is killing things and reflecting on bloodshed, but he's also witnessing bloodshed done by humans. So I'm enjoying seeing both sides of the story. I did find myself getting a little bored at a scene with the dragon where he's talking to Grendel, and at some points he's like, I know you're not paying attention, and then it also pulled me back into the story because I was like, okay, you kind of lost me too, to be fair. So, but overall, I'm really enjoying this perspective, and I just have to wake myself up so that I can finish that. And then I'm kind of feeling like doing a reread of The Invention of Hugo Cabret, which I have on my shelf over there. It's a huge book, but it's got illustrations, so it wouldn't take me long to read, and I've been itching to reread it for a while now. I've actually reread it a few times. At one point, I was rereading it every year, and then I just stopped doing that. I have no clue why. It does not take me long to read, so I'm itching to read that again. But I want to finish Grendel first, and then I'll likely pick that up. So I have showered and also finished reading Grendel, which took me longer than I thought it would for such a short book. It's 174 pages, but it took a lot out of me. There's a lot going on in this book. It's very existential, which I wasn't exactly expecting. In some ways I was, of course, just like how in Frankenstein's monster is debating his existence, and you really feel for him. And I expected some of that, but this book really goes into what it means to live our reality, how we shape our reality. Very philosophical, and that can be draining, honestly, for me. So I read this slower than I expected. Overall, I enjoyed it. There were some moments that disgusted me and made me feel very uncomfortable, but he is a monster, committing monstrous acts, I should say. But you also see others committing monstrous acts and they get praised for it. So, sorry, I had to cut there because Mabel started barking. There is a storm rolling in, hopefully not a really bad one. I just want some ambiance, of course, and hopefully nothing crazy happens, but just in case you hear thunder, that's what's going on outside. So overall, I enjoyed, but I didn't love. I am... at this moment, I think I'll give it 3 out of 5 stars, but since it was so existential, so philosophical, I'm going to take a little while to think on it, and then I'll decide my rating. I won't mark my rating on Goodreads or Storygraph or anywhere yet, basically. I switched up the TBR a little bit, and instead of Jane Austen next, I really want to reread The Invention of Hugo Cabaret by Brian Selznick. I read this book for the first time in middle school for a beta club convention. I don't know if you all ever went to beta club conventions, but basically you would participate in a competition to get to go, and all the schools would come into one convention center or one hotel. So I participated with a few others in a book challenge, and so we had to read a whole reading list and then take a quiz. And it's one of my most embarrassing memories because I read this book, knew that I loved it the moment I read it, and then went and took the quiz, and me and this other girl who definitely works better under pressure and had retained the information more than I had gotten the answers right, but I am terrible at taking quizzes, taking tests, any competitions. I'd never played sports. I rarely ever put myself in a position where I had to answer correctly or compete against others. So I was answering everything wrong, which is so embarrassing. Everyone knew that I loved books, and I definitely let the team down, let myself down. But I didn't let that ruin my love for this book, because this book is amazing, and I just had to read it again and enjoy it in a no pressure atmosphere, which is what I've done over the years, and I don't know what it is. I mean, I do know what it is. 2026 has been a hard year, and I think it's been a hard year for a lot of us. So I just want to relive the magic of this book. We are following a boy in a Paris train station with the history of movies, cinema. It's so beautiful. The illustrations are gorgeous, and I just love this story so much. There's also a movie that is so good as well. Beautiful shots in that movie. I was just looking here on the dust jacket. It says that there's 284 pages of original drawings. So I believe I already mentioned that there are a lot of drawings in this book. They tell the story, and as well as the pages with words. So I love that it all comes together in such a beautiful way at the end. So enough of me yapping, let me resume the timer, read this if I finish this before the timer goes out, because as you can tell by the lighting change, it is getting darker, and with the storm coming in, it's getting a lot darker as well. So as long as I don't take too many more pauses, I should be done around or before midnight. I thought I was recording a whole update and I wasn't. I'm using a little light this time that's actually super bright and it's throwing me off so bad. So I'm sorry if I keep looking at the viewfinder. I want to make sure that I'm actually recording. And I'm coming back on already because I didn't actually give you the exact time that I have left to read, which is important for a challenge like this. And when I'm expected to be done, I just guesstimated because the light is really throwing me off. I have to get used to this. I'm trying it out because if I don't have enough light, my camera just keeps autofocusing or whatever it is. I'm not a technological person, so I don't really know how to fix it without adding more light, which I probably should do anyway. That's what all the real YouTubers do, so I'm just like suffering for now until I get used to it. And anyway, now I have my phone up. I can actually read it. I have 5 hours and 13 minutes left, so I'm actually going to be done a little after midnight. I thought I would be, originally I would have been done around 11 or so, but I've taken breaks throughout the day, and I don't want to count the breaks, so I'm at 5 hours and 13 minutes left to read. 12:18 a.m. is when I should be completed. Oh, you can see the light, I'm sorry. Okay, there you go. Oh, fudge. That is so bright. Okay, I have moved positions. I'm sitting in the floor now because I'm at the point where I feel like I need to move every few minutes or so. But I finished my reread of The Invention of Hugo Cabret, and the best word to describe this book, no matter what age you are, is magic. Pure magic. I love this story so, so much. Brian Selznick created one of my all-time favorite stories with this, and part of it is because I love films and filmmaking, and I just love when a story makes you feel like you can do anything, be anything, and I love it. The setting, the illustrations, the way they tell the story without you having to read. Of course, there's words as well, but I love the beginning. It's 1931. You're following Hugo as he lives as the timekeeper in the Paris train station, and he has to steal for food so he doesn't starve. But also he's a boy. He's 12 years old, and he's wanting toys. He's wanting things like that, and he's wanting... I don't want to give too much away, actually. So my way is, again, no matter what age you are, it is a children's book, but you can read this and love it at any age. It has that magic. So if you have not read this yet, I highly recommend this book. It's one of my all-time favorites, and I think you should just pick it up. You don't need to know really what it's about. Just pick it up. It's so, so good. That brings me to another book, because I still have a little over 3 hours to read. So I'm at 3 hours and 20 minutes. So I am reading pretty fast, I feel, but I'm getting a little... I just want to keep moving around. So I'm debating getting an audiobook. I don't really want to do that because there's no audiobooks that I actually have on my TBR. So that would be me having to look for an audiobook and put it on my TBR when I would rather just bring down my TBR. So again, I'm sorry if I keep looking at the viewfinder. I'm still getting used to the lighting thing. So I think that I'll get a book from my shelf in the living room. So let's go over into the living room and see what I've got there. we're at the shelf I built pretty recently, and here I'm just keeping all sorts of books, honestly. And I think that I want to read the T. Kingfisher, like cozy fantasy books there, Paladin's Grace. I think I might actually start that, so let me grab it. I feel like there's never not a super loud truck or car going by. But as you saw, I pulled off Paladin's Grace, and it says that this is I don't know when that truck's gonna go away, so I'm just gonna continue. Is a darkly whimsical, cozy fantasy featuring sock knitting paladins, badass perfumers, courtroom hijinks, and heart-racing romance. Ooh, so I'm super excited. T. Kingfisher, I've only read one other work, Thornhedge. I enjoyed it, but I think that I'm really gonna love these. So I love the cover, everything about it, so might as well start it. The font is small. I don't think it's going to be a difficult read, but I also don't think that I'm going to finish this one before my time is up. But you never know. So I'm excited to get started on this and have another charming read. Grendel is still weighing on me, honestly. That was a pretty deep read. The plot of this book is, while foraging for Startleflower, perfumer Grace finds herself pursued by ruffians and rescued by a handsome paladin in shining armor. Only to outwit her hunters, they must pretend to be doing something very unrespectable in an alleyway. Stephen, a broken paladin, spends his time knitting socks and working as a bodyguard, living only for the chance to be useful. But that all changes when he saves Grace and witnesses an assassination attempt gone wrong. Now, Stephen and Grace must navigate a web of treachery and poisoners, while a cryptic killer, a cryptic killer stalks one step behind. Okay. Yep, that sounds good. That sounds good. So, I'm ready to get some more reading done. I did it. I did it. I read for 12 hours. Yes, I did. It is 12:23, the latest I've stayed up in a while, and it actually wasn't that difficult because this thunderstorm actually got kind of scary for a minute. The lightning was so bright and the thunder was so loud that it was shaking my apartment, so I was dropping the book at some points. The other reason why it wasn't difficult for me to stay up and complete this challenge is because I'm really enjoying Paladin's Grace. This is such a cute book. I love our two main characters, Stephen and Grace, so much already, and I can't wait to finish this book. It's so endearing. I'm loving the plot also with the mystery. A string of murders are happening. You also want to get to know more of Stephen and Grace's backstory, because Stephen is a paladin whose god has died, and then Grace is a perfumer who has a history of her own that we're uncovering, and I'm loving it so much. T. Kingfisher is just such a great writer. I can't wait to finish this. I made it to page 110. So I'm super happy about that. And then on to my totals for this reading challenge. I finished Transformation, which I only had 50 pages left of. Then I read, oh my goodness, the rain is starting again. I don't know if you can hear it. It is really coming down. I'm not sure how long the storm is supposed to last, but anyway, then I read 84 Charing Cross Road, which was 97 pages. Then I read Grendel, which was 174. And then I reread The Invention of Hugo Cabret, which is 525 is the total I got. Goodreads said 534 or something, but I got 525, so total of 956 pages, which I'm so happy about. I finished 4 books, which is crazy. This year, my reading has been slow, which is fine. I'm not going to beat myself up about it. But this is so awesome because a lot of these books have been on my TBR for a while. I'm super happy that this challenge has proved to me that I can read. I can read when I make the time to do it. So I'm super happy. And now, if you can't tell, I'm tired. I'm gonna go watch YouTube and I'm going to sleep. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more challenges like this, please drop a comment down below. Again, I hope you'll subscribe and stick around. I'd love to have you here. And that's it. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.